Hello, ghouls, and welcome to Brave the Basement. I'm your host, Ghoul the Rules.
And I'm your co-host, Black One Jack 2.
If you enjoy getting a little scared, ghost stories, haunted houses, a believer in the supernatural, or maybe even a skeptic wanting to look at things from a different perspective, then this is the show for you. Hey, Blackjack, how's it going?
I'm doing all right.
You look a little,
Under the weather.
under the weather there.
Yeah, just, the season cold. You know how it is, man. It's just from our weather going from 70 to 30, it's just unpredictable these days.
Well, you know what they say about Indiana, don't you, Blackjack?
What?
If you don't like the weather, wait 5
5
minutes. So today we're going to be talking about Robert the Doll. And so,
Does it have any relations with the one doll in LaPorte, Indiana?
no,
No? Okay.
there's no doll. Well, I'm sure there's a doll in LaPorte, Indiana.
Oh, what episode was that?
You're thinking of the Annabelle doll.
Yes, that I am thinking. I thought that was in LaPorte.
No, LaPorte was Belle Gunnis and Posey Chapel.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is actually in the Key West.
All right, that's cool.
And before, I don't remember if it's in this article or not, but it also appeared on a TV show that Ozzy Osbourne done with his son, Jack Osbourne. So I'm going to go ahead and dive in. You can find this article on ghostandgravestones.com. So Robert the Doll, we've all experienced it. That eerie feeling that something or someone was watching us. That an inanimate object had, in actuality, come alive. In Key West, many have not only experienced that feeling, but have also witnessed it when viewing the famous toy, Robert the Doll. The story of Robert the Doll dates back to the early 1900s when a young boy named Eugene Robert Otto was given a one-of-a-kind handmade doll by a servant that worked for his parents in his home. Eugene, who everyone called Gene, named the doll Robert and quickly became attached to his new friend. The home where Eugene lived, now called the Artist's Home, is located at 534 Eaton Street and was built between 1890 and 1898. It was here that Eugene was given Robert the Doll and where a friendship that lasted throughout his lifetime and beyond was forged. While he seemed like an ordinary cloth doll, it wasn't long before Robert was involved in strange and somewhat terrifying events. The first hint that something was out of the ordinary was happening was one night when Gene, who was only 10 years old, awoke to find Robert the Doll sitting at the end of his bed staring at him. Moments later, his mother was awakened by his screams for help and the sounds of furniture being overturned in her son's bedroom. Gene cried for help, begging his mother to rescue him. When she finally was able to reach up the locked door, she saw poor Gene curled up in fear on his bed, his room in shambles, and Robert the Doll sitting at the foot of the bed. What would you do, Blackjack, if that happened to you?
I have no idea. I mean, I would be in the fetal position probably.
So did Robert do it? Nobody knows for sure why or how this child's plaything could actually wreak havoc on a child's bedroom or do anything at all. After all, it was just a toy, right? But the weird and inexplicable didn't stop at the one occurrence. Gene's parents would often fear that their son upstairs talking to the doll and getting a response back in a totally different voice. They reported seeing the doll speak and witnessing his expression change. Giggling and sightings of Robert running up the steps or staring out the upstairs window were also reported. Robert continued to live with Gene throughout his lifetime, and after Gene's parents died, he moved back into their home with his wife, Anne. Gene decided that the doll needed a room of his own and placed him in the upstairs room that had a window overlooking the street. Anne felt uneasy with Robert in the house, and although she couldn't put her finger on it, she wanted Gene to lock up the doll in the attic where he could do no harm. Gene conceded, and as one could imagine, Robert the Doll was not happy with his new digs. Soon, visitors to the home heard footsteps in the attic, the sounds of someone pacing back and forth, and devilish giggling. Neighborhood children reported seeing Robert watching them from the window in the upstairs bedroom and told accounts of the doll actually mocking them as they walked to school. When Gene heard this, he immediately went to investigate, knowing that he had locked Robert in the attic and there was no way he could be sitting by the window of the upstairs bedroom. But to his complete shock, when he opened the door to the bedroom, there was Robert, sitting in a rocking chair by the window. Gene locked Robert back up in the attic several times, each time discovering him again sitting by the window in the same upstairs bedroom. So, what do you think of that so far, Blackjack?
That's creepy, man. Like, every time you think about like these dolls, I think of the Goosebumps series with that. You know what I'm talking about with that one.
Slappy? Was it Slappy?
Yeah, Slappy. That's what I keep on thinking about.
Keep thinking about Slappy. He was a, what do you call them?
Ventriloquist dolls.
Yeah, one of them ventriloquist dolls. A new child to terrorize. Excuse me. Gene Otto died in 1974, and when a new owner moved into the house on Eaton Street, their 10-year-old daughter was delighted to find Robert the doll in the attic. But her delight ended soon when she claimed that Robert was alive and that the doll wanted to hurt her. She often, in the middle of the night, screaming in fear, and told her parents that Robert had moved about the room. Is Robert really possessed? Many believe that the origin of Robert's evil lies in the one who originally gave him to Gene Otto, the servant who worked for Gene's parents. This woman was supposedly mistreated by her bosses, and to punish them, it is believed that she cursed the doll with voodoo and black magic. That might explain the many mysterious and frightening experiences people have had with Robert the doll. But if so, wouldn't the hauntings end when the owners died? No one really knows for sure, but one thing remains constant. Robert the doll continues to taunt and scare those who come to his view, especially guests to the museum who attempt to take photos. Many have reported their cameras becoming inoperable when they tried to take a picture of Robert, only to begin working again when they left the museum. Robert the doll sits inside a glass case, but it doesn't seem to stop him from inflicting fear and discomfort to museum staff and visitors. Blackjack, you could meet Robert at the East Martello Museum. Visitors are welcome to view Robert in a special case at the museum and, of course, encouraged to try and get a photo. Though most who've tried have been unsuccessful. If nothing else, get a close look at Robert and watch him carefully. Try to catch a glimpse of him smirking at you, moving about in his case, or watching you as you watch him.
That's creepy, man. That just gave me some chills, dude. I mean, wow.
So I'm gonna find a photo of Robert the doll. I'm gonna go ahead and put him on our photo gallery page on bravethebasement.weebly.com. Well, I'm not taking the photo, Blackjack.
Well, I mean, apparently 90% of the people who tried haven't found a good one.
Well, do you want to see what he looks like?
Yeah, sure.
And I'm going to show you this picture, and I'm going to tell you exactly what pops into my mind when I see the picture. Are you ready?
Is it the My Buddy doll?
No, it's not the My Buddy doll. I had one, though, back in the late 80s, early 90s. He's still pretty creepy. And that was around the time of Child's Play. Anyway, you ready for the picture? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, here it goes.
Oh, that's pretty. That's messed up, my guy. Wait. Yeah, man, that's not cute. He's in a little sailor's outfit.
You know what he makes me think of kind of in that outfit? And you're going to kind of laugh.
What?
Red Dead Redemption 2.
Okay.
When you go to the gunsmith and find a little boy in a little outfit in the basement.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that when I first seen this picture,
that's what you thought of.
That's what I thought of was that creepy dude that had a little kid in the basement on Red Dead Redemption 2. So you got to excuse us. We are Red Dead Redemption 2 fans over here.
We are.
So with that said, Blackjack, so one of the stories that goes along with this is you're supposed to ask Robert for permission before taking his photograph.
Okay.
And there have been reports of people who did not ask for permission to take Robert's photograph. And some very bad things happened to them on their commute home from the museum.
Oh, that's not good.
So, and obviously, Blackjack brought up Child's Play and the My Buddy doll and all that. And so, and of course, you think of the Annabelle doll.
Yeah.
And so in Child's Play, if you remember, the guy, Chucky, he used voodoo to put his soul inside the doll. And that's how the Chucky doll came alive. Now, Annabelle doll is believed to be possessed by a demon. So, chances are, I don't know if black or voodoo is used, but evidently this doll is possessed by something. And I don't know what it is. I just know this. If you get a doll and you wake up...
Don't do voodoo on it, all right?
Yeah, don't do voodoo. And if you wake up in the middle of the night and he's sitting at the end of your bed where you did not leave him and he's just staring at you, it's time to get rid of the doll.
I agree.
So I'm sitting here right now watching Blackjack just constantly wipe his nose.
It's terrible, guys, all right?
You are suffering, my guy.
I am, dude. And it is awful.
So prognosis here on Robert the Doll, Blackjack. What do you think? You think that this is a real possession? Do you think that this is something that a little kid made up and just messed with his parents?
I feel like it's real, man. I mean, we already have a possessed doll by a demon. I mean, if you really think about it, yeah, I'm breaking it back.
Is that the first, if you think about it, of the season?
If you think about it, yes, it was. If you think about it, voodoo, I feel like voodoo is just like a way for a demon to enter,
It's possible. I'm obviously not the voodoo guru. I don't know what a voodoo guru would be, but it is definitely not me. So I can't speak to that. But I think the thing about this story, because when I was first going through it, and I was thinking about the little boy, and little kids are imaginative.
They are.
But when a new family moved into that home, and things started happening again, either for that to be a hoax, these people would have had to known about this doll.
They would have, yeah.
But here I'm gonna to quote Blackjack here. But if you think about it,
thank you.
If I'm buying a home and I got a 10-year-old little girl and I knew of a story of a possessed voodoo doll, I'm not buying the house. Or if I do buy the house, I'm getting rid of the doll and I'm not letting my daughter play with it. And I guess that's the next thing I don't understand, Blackjack. If this doll was doing these things, why didn't the parents just get rid of it?
I mean, I want to say because I every time I do, I think of the Slappy incident where Slappy always comes back.
So you think they threw him out in the trash can and
here's good old Slappy.
And there's old Slappy just sitting up in the attic chilling, watching the kids walk to school like a weirdo. In his little sailor outfit. I mean, we're making fun, Blackjack, but here's the thing, like, what if this is real?
I don't know, man. It's just, wow.
So if you find yourself down in Key West, Florida, head on over to that museum. I'll have to look it back. I don't remember the name of it right off the top of my head. But make your way over to that museum and see if you can see Robert the doll. And if you feel brave enough to ask permission to take his photo,
please send us at bravethebasement.com.
But do be warned, there have been reports of bad things happening to folks who tried to take his photo. So I'm trying to pull this back up, Blackjack. It's at the East Martello Museum in Key West, Florida.
If you guys are there, go check it out. send some Google mail about it, and yeah.
So there was a link to this museum, and I was just trying to look real quick, but it's going to take me a little bit longer to go through just to see if there's any other haunted things at this museum. So if you are there, definitely check out Robert the Doll. I'm going to officially label this as creepy, just because possessed dolls creep me out, and I think it's because I grew up during the golden era of Child's Play movies.
Man, not even dolls in general are creepy anymore. You know what I mean? Have you seen pictures of the people that have like 500 dolls and they have them like set up by like the window?
Yeah. So grandma's house, and I'd have to go back. I don't remember if I brought this up or not. Going all the way back to season 1, episode 1, 60 some episodes ago. But I used to have to go over my grandma's house at like 4 in the morning, because my parents would go to work, and she lived right across the street. So I'd just walk across the street. Grandma would let me in, and I'd go lay down on the couch for a couple hours. And in her living room, she had all these porcelain dolls. Have you ever seen a big, large porcelain doll collection?
No, not personally.
It is creepy in of itself. So I can only imagine if you had one of these possessed dolls running around trying to eat your family.
Like, is it like porcelain that like metal, plastic?
It's like a toilet.
It's like a toilet. So, okay.
Toilet's made out of porcelain.
Okay, so that's what it.
So yeah, porcelain dolls. She had a bunch of porcelain dolls in the haunted spooky house.
Yeah, that's a terrible idea. Spooky house plus a way to get spookiness into the doll. Yeah, no, terrible idea.
Absolutely terrible idea. So before we sign off here, kind of let you know what's going on. We are planning on doing a couple more ghost hunts coming up. The weather, like we joked about at the beginning of the episode, we'll get an 80-degree day right now this time of year, and then the very next day is 30 degrees. Every weekend, or you look at the forecast and it's like gorgeous weather, and then you get a couple days out and the weather changes. Winter's back.
And then you get depressed.
So, more to come on that, guys. Uncle Junior has accepted my invitation. He's going to join us on an episode. Uncle Junior is a Bigfoot enthusiast, so he is kind of the only person that I know that knows almost everything there is to know about Bigfoot, and that's an episode I've always wanted to do. I just don't know a whole lot about the Sasquatch.
Well, he's our guy.
So he is a big Bigfoot enthusiast. Like I said, he watches every documentary under the sun on the subject, and so we can't wait to get him on. That's going to be a very, very exciting show. So if you have a ghost story that you would like to share, we have several different ways you can submit them. You could email your story to bravethebasement@gmail.com. You could submit your story right on the website. Just go to bravethebasement.weebly.com. On the Contact Us page, you do not have to provide your name or email to submit a story. Just start typing and send it over. You can also submit your story on Reddit using the subreddit Brave the Basement. You can also post your story in the YouTube comment section. If you'd like to provide us with an audio file of you telling your ghost story in your own words, please email it or send us a link if you have that on YouTube with some timestamps. But we do not have a way of receiving the audio file through our website, unfortunately. And just so you know, your story could be shared on this podcast and our website on the featured Google Mail page. Emailing us your story does not automatically enroll you in our newsletter, but if you want to enroll in the newsletter, get all the latest and greatest when each episode is going to be posted. You got anything you'd like to share, Blackjack?
No.
And that brings us to the end. We hope that we brought you just a little fright. And remember, when you're up late at night and you hear something in the other room that just doesn't seem right, it's okay if you need to turn on the light to protect yourself from things that go bump in the night. I'm your host, The Ghoul That Rules.
I'm your co-host, Black Jack 2.
Hope you join us again. Till next time.